guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Wimbledon. Now, as you can see on the screen, obviously we are on the first day of the season, so to speak, against Plymouth. But I have so much more than that to talk about, basically. So I'm obviously going to take you through transfers and stuff, because we do have a fair amount to talk about despite our small budget, as well as obviously the building of the tactics. So we'll go through those two things. But before we do that, if we could get, I don't actually know how many likes, just as many likes as you want on this video if you are enjoying this series, even though we're only on the second episode, then do hit the like button. That would be amazing. And a question of the day, and today's question is this: if there was one thing from FM that you could bring in or like to see in real life football, what would that be? This is a really selfish answer from me, but I just want to see Fulham back in the Premier League. But that's a selfish club answer, basically. But one thing I would also like to see is that in FM you don't see clubs getting fined for racism, because it doesn't exist in the game world, and things like that don't exist in FM, and it'd be lovely if that didn't exist in real life too, frankly. That's a bit of a sort of head in the clouds approach, I suppose, but still, it would be nice to see that come to fruition. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the tactic. No, we'll talk about signings first. So let's go over it, and I'll start showing you some of the players that we've signed. Right, guys, we're back, and this is the first sort of signing that we've made. I'm doing jump cuts here just because it makes things a little bit smoother. This is Tony Harris. Now, he's actually a regen, and I wasn't expecting to find any regens, and I think we got incredibly lucky. And I can't really take a lot of credit for this, because on my first, when you first go into you meet your staff and they suggest you a couple of signings, usually they're rubbish. But this is something I've noticed this year. They are much better recommendations than they ever used to be. And he was actually one of them, and I was shocked because I was not expecting regens in that. But there you go. Here he is. It's Tony Harris. We've signed him from Stockport. He cost us £10,000. So that's a lot of our budget, I admit. That was like a third of it. But, you know, he's not a lot of money. He's only on £100 a week for another 2 years. Point is, he is 16 years old and already a 3-star player within our team with bags of potential, it seems. And I thought that was just one to snap up, because the fact is, even if he doesn't turn out to be fantastic, the point is we can still move him on for more than 10k. I think this kid could probably be worth quite a bit of money as he improves, and I think he's a decent player, frankly, for the position he plays already. So that is Tony Harris. Really, really pleased to bring him in. Next up is a loanee, and believe me, when you see our tactics and the way things have played for us so far, this guy is key for that. This is Lewis Kinsella. He's on loan from Villa. He's a brilliant left back. He can play in the middle as well, but I'm playing him at left back, obviously, and he is just bloody brilliant. I'm really enjoying his work so far. He fits into the tactic perfectly, so I would highly recommend, if you need a decent fullback at League 2, get Lewis Kinsella on loan from Villa. He's brilliant. Next up is one that I wasn't entirely sure about, but I felt that we had to. And the one thing I have done a lot is scouting Ireland, Wales, and Scotland less so, actually, because I haven't found any great players in Scotland. They were always sort of wouldn't come to us. But Ireland and Wales, particularly, both the islands, Republic and Northern Ireland, both wanted to have players come to us, and it was great. And that's where I've kind of done most of our business, frankly, apart from some loanees, basically. They've all come in from sort of Ireland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So yeah, this is Keenan Durston. Now, he came in from Wales, interestingly, and yeah, he's not fantastic yet, and he may not progress too much, but the point is, he's just an okay player, could fill some positions. He was a free transfer. We didn't even have to pay. We just basically approached to sign him. There was not even any compensation. I think it was like £100 or something. So it was worth just bringing him in to build the squad, and you'll see why I've picked these certain players to bring in once we get to the tactic as well. Next up is a real player. Hey, it's about time. This is Stephen Traynor. Now, unfortunately, he's not going to be playing for us for quite some time, because he actually broke his foot on his debut for us. I think it was his debut. No, sorry, he actually did play a couple of times and then broke his foot. So he was out for 6 months, and he's still got 4 to 5 months left on that. But again, he's a sort of player that can play all over the middle in these 3 positions, and you'll see why that's important in a sec. He's got a little bit of potential too, so I was keen in bringing him in because it's a free signing and he's already valued at £35,000. So the point is that profit is there to be made. Next up is one that I'm really quite pleased with. He may not have the ability yet, but I think there's a bit of potential in this lad. Maybe one for a backup goalkeeper in the future, or one that could even take over at some point. This is Luke Fleming, basically. He's 19 years old. He's Welsh. He's just brilliant. Another free signing. There's a lot of frees that they were at clubs, but we were still able to bring them in on frees just because of the way the contract system works. So it's fantastic. I'm really, really pleased with it. Next up again, it's yet another player. This guy, he can play all across the front line as well as in that central midfield role. Once again, £375 this guy cost us from Connors Key over in Wales. And again, he's decent at the moment. He's 20 years old. He's got some potential in him as well. And I think these sort of players, yeah, they're young, but the point is we need to start bringing in players that have got that potential to take us forward, because we've actually got an okay squad as it is, which I'm going to sort of subsidise with loan signings for now, while these guys sort of get up to speed. But Tony Harris is able to step straight in, and that's pleasing. Next up is a loan signing. This is Josh Falkingham, who we've got on loan from Dunfermline. Now, he's 24 years old, so he's nearly reaching his sort of potential. But the point is, again, he can play in all of those 3 midfield positions, attacking mid, centre mid, which is where he'll probably get used, as well as defensive mid as backup potentially there as well. He's a decent enough player, and I just needed to bring some of these guys in. Loans are priceless at this point, and I don't think we're paying very much of his salary. I think we're literally paying like £100 a week. I believe that's what it is, basically. So brilliant stuff there. Our final loan signing is Jordan Clark. Now, this is one I was very, very pleased to get because he is going to play in all sorts of positions. Now, he's got a facial injury at the moment, so he won't play today, and he's not actually made a single appearance for us. He must have played in a pre-season friendly for his old club, but he's on loan from Shrewsbury. He looks like a solid player. I'm very, very pleased to have him, basically. He's, again, going to play in all of these positions, and it's very, very useful to have players like this. So that's what we've done in terms of signing so far. A couple of loanees have gone out. I've got a couple more players that I'm looking at potentially to bring in on loan as well to make sure that we can kind of subsidise the team, and I'll show you why we need to do that, basically. Right, so tactically, this is what I've gone for. Now, this wasn't what I started off with, let's put it that way. Originally, we were actually playing a 4-1-2-3 kind of situation, which is similar to this, but we had 3 strikers, basically, and it worked a little bit, but the point is that we've had struggles with this tactic, and to make it work, we were having sort of like 30 shots a game, but only like 7 on target, sometimes less. And the problem I found was that players were just shooting way too much. Lyle Taylor in one of the games had 11 shots, not a single one on target. So almost every player in this team is set to shoot less. And what started happening is that, yeah, we actually start scoring like 2-3 times the amount of goals, but from like 3 times less shots, because I actually saw them squaring the ball in scoring opportunities. I've never seen that before. Literally on FM, if they're in a tight angle, they almost always shoot, and it's so frustrating instead of just slipping it across the box. This seems to prevent that. We've picked up so many tap-ins from players putting the ball across the box instead of just shooting, and it is brilliant. Now, obviously, this isn't the tactic that we're going to the team that we're going to be playing today, I don't think. I want to go with Taylor, and I'm actually tempted to put Elliot in because for some reason, Akinfenwa just doesn't suit this system, and he's obviously picked up an injury as well, which doesn't help. So I'm trying to think what else I really need to show you at this point, guys, because that's basically what we've done in this transfer window. We've not picked up any kind of worldy names. We've picked up some sort of safe players to sort of build this team up a little bit. The tactics still need some little tweaks. We've not played against any huge teams, although we did get a draw with Watford, but that was playing an older style of tactic. The other thing I've noticed about it is that it's quite content to be on control, counter, or attacking, and it doesn't seem to affect the tactic too much regarding its effectiveness, but it does depend on what team you're against. I find that we're pushed quite high up, as you can see from the instructions. In fact, we're pushed up very high. But if we come up against a team that are constantly putting it over the top, we can drop deeper, shove it on counter, and it seems to be just as effective, just for different reasons. So I'm pretty pleased with it, frankly, guys. I am really, really pleased with it so far. That being said, we're probably going to lose this game now that I've said that. So there you go. Let's do a quick pick and just see who we've got available for today. So Taylor and Elliot is sort of the front 2 I'd look for. Falkingham isn't really ideal in that position, although he did score 2 goals on his debut when he played there. I'd much rather have... Where is he? Someone like Trainer or Clark playing that role, but again, unfortunately, injuries are preventing that currently. Now, Harris is a brilliant player, but his stamina, I don't think is particularly great yet. 10, it's not too bad, but he's got a long way to improve. He does seem to get knackered quite easily, and we do lack support in those areas. But we do have Jake Reeves, who unfortunately has refused to sign a new contract with us, which is a pain. And a lot of my transfer money actually went on getting players on new contracts, unfortunately, because almost every player on the team's contract was expiring at the end of end of this year, so we had to do something about it, basically. So, we're just going to jump straight into today's match against Plymouth, see if we can get off to the perfect start in League 2, because Plymouth are a good side. There's no denying that. So we need a really, really top start. I don't know what happened there. Right. Defensive positioning. This is an area we really need someone in there, but I think when Jordan Clark can come in there, we could really start to have a decent team appearing there, and that's what I'm really Oh, hello. Of course, Josh Falkham's not played an actual game yet, has he? But yeah, so I think things are looking positive for us. Yeah, okay, we may not have made Hollywood signings or anything, but the point is I'm pleased with what we're doing, and it's about, it's about long term. We can't just go and sign a load of players and blow all our budget on players that are okay now, because it's pointless. It just doesn't have, there's no long-term strategy to that, basically. We need to look at players who can improve in the future, but are decent enough to play now. Tony Harris is the epitome of that, basically. A player that is very young now. Yeah, he needs the experience, but he's decent enough now to fit into our team, and he's only going to get better. He's not going to be like Tony Ivancic level good, but he's going to be a solid player. I want to see if Luis Cancelo actually demonstrate... Oh, wow, shit, the bed. And Shea has managed to collect that. We very nearly went behind very early. That would have been a bit poor, but I don't know if that's actually the highlight or not. It's going to be a question of whether we can actually pull this sort of thing off in league matches, of course, because the friendlies, a lot of them were already arranged, and I didn't want to cancel too many of them. I did arrange plenty ourselves as well. Now, we don't often get as much pass completion with this tactic as I would perhaps like, but as long as we get a decent amount of possession, we're usually okay. But unfortunately, today they've actually dominated the ball quite a lot. So we may have to start finding ways of doing that, maybe closing down a little bit more. Ball across the box, Reed's all the way in, and what a save that is from Shea. Shea has been a really solid keeper for us in pre-season. And headed again, and Shea collects it. Plymouth have started pretty damn solidly here. Our pass completion is woeful at the moment. We're outnumbered in the middle. Okay. I might just try and retain possession a little bit more, just to try and stop them from doing that. Unfortunately, there's a big difference between pre-season and actually getting into the season, unfortunately, guys, and that's just one of those things that has to be the case. You know, you can only test it so many times. Yeah, we got a draw with Watford, but God knows what sort of team they were playing. We've smashed some teams at points, but again, it's really difficult to sort of judge it. Right, let's just take a little look at the Prozone stats and see whether there's anything that stands out. 3 fouls against Josh Simpson, interceptions. Boateng is... Where is Boateng playing? Because he's intercepting a lot of our passes. Is he there? He's their left-sided defensive mid. How do we get past that system? Is there anything I can see on the old... That's us, not them. On the old heat map. They're all over the place, although particularly here. That's where they're really... Is that Barry Fuller's side? That is Barry Fuller's side. I'm wondering if putting Barry Fuller back onto support like I actually originally had might just make a tiny bit of difference and stop him getting in behind him. Originally... Oh, he is on support. Okay, maybe that's why they're getting in there. No, we can't change that too badly. I'm still getting used to the Prozone stuff. It's very, very useful if you know how to read it properly. Unfortunately, I've been a bit... that's very narrow. Mistakes? Often this left-hand side. They've had a couple of scoring chances. Okay, I don't really know, guys. Usually you can sort of find a pattern, and again, I'm not very good at reading the game still, so we might just have to go. The point is, it's still 0-0. We're still in this game. It only takes a goal, and things change. We're just lumping it to nobody at the moment, and I'm just wondering if that could be an issue for us. But I've noticed that the possession has flown back towards us. Like, they had 60-something% possession at one point, and now it's in our favour, and I don't know what they've changed or why they've surrendered it. Barry Fuller now, go on, good cross. Ball across, Reeves is in, Reeves will shoot, Reeves will not score, but it's a good effort, and it has stung the hands of the goalkeeper. I'm just going to move that down. Oh, hello, ball in again, and McCormack comes to collect. So, you know, possession is starting to fall back to us, and that actually might work in our favour, because this tactic works best when we've got possession of the ball. Fuller just letting it roll for some reason. Now... It's a work in progress, of course. We need a better attacking mid because he's going to get those passes through, and unfortunately Falkingham just isn't that kind of player. He's good when he's breaking beyond. Oh, hello, Taylor's through. Taylor strikes it and Taylor scores. There we go. 1-0 to Wimbledon. I don't think we really changed anything, but I'm guessing whatever they changed has had a massively detrimental effect on the way they're playing. Let me just see. I don't really know what they've changed. But the point is, the possession is ours now. Pass completion is not fantastic, but it doesn't matter at this point because we're doing brilliantly. We're winning our first game of the season as well, which is brilliant. I don't know who put the assist through. It was Harris's ball over the top. Taylor's in, and lovely finish. Goalkeeper maybe could have done a bit better with that, but there you go. It is Wimbledon 1, Plymouth 0 on the opening day of the season, and we could start off with a win. That would be ideal. They've matched us, frankly, in this game, so we're going to make our first substitution now because, again, look, this is what I mean about Tony Harris, but unfortunately... Oh, Bullman's back! Right. Bullman has been missing for so long, we can finally play him. And I'm tempted to get Barry... No, this is the thing. Barry Fuller is... We'll get William Nightingale on for Carly Osborne. Carly Osborne is a good player, and he's one of our loanees. He was already on loan, though. We made 2 subs here, and we'll sort of finish one off around about 80... No, it depends. We might save one for injuries, just in case. It's certainly been a very sort of poor game in terms of the number of shots, but the point is we've scored with one of ours, and that's all that I really care about. Elliot is looking a little bit knackered. Sean Rigg is not a very... good player, and he's not really ideal for that role either, but we might not have a choice in this one. Reeves to Kinsella. He's not been as good as I've seen him lately, Kinsella. Falkingham, header, and it's put in the back by, I think, William Nightingale. Yes, it is. First ever goal for Wimbledon. It was Wimbledon 2, Plymouth 0, and this game has really flipped on its head. They could have had us in that first half. Kinsella drops it back. Reeves puts the ball in. It's flicked on by Falkingham and headed in by Nightingale. Maybe a hint of offside there, but lovely header to make it 2-0 to Wimbledon on the opening day, and I'm pleased with this tactic so far. I really am very pleased with it. We'll stay on control. Things are looking good. Plymouth haven't really offered anything in this second half. Though that being said, they're probably going to go and score a hat-trick or something right about now. Simpson. Oh, that's... Go on, goalkeeper. There we go. I'm going to look at seeing sort of... You know, I like a good sweeper keeper. Rigg's through here. Can we get a third? Rigg is in. Will he shoot? He's been brought down, and it is a penalty to Wimbledon. 3-0 seems a little bit harsh on Plymouth, to be honest. But the point is, this tactic is ruthlessly effective. We don't have that many shots, but the point is, once again, as I've been seeing in these friendlies, we're going to hopefully score 3 goals from, you know, 7 shots on target, which is solid. That's what I like to see. In one of the games, we got 5 goals from like 6 shots on target. They're very, very composed, and I'm liking that. Players with high composure are the sort of players I'm going to be interested in as well. Lyle Taylor with his 2nd goal of the season and of the match, and that is 3-0 to Wimbledon on the opening day against a really solid Plymouth team. So I'm pleased with that. I'm really, really pleased. They really have come into their own in the second half of this game. I'm not really sure what changed, but if anything, I think they've actually shot themselves in the foot, because I don't really think I changed anything, to be honest. But we'll take it. We'll take the 3-0 win. I'd like a clean sheet as well, but I don't think any changes I'd make now would make any difference, because... go on, get there. There we go, Nightingale. Great debut from him as well. Shea's been good tonight. He saved a really decent opportunity early on for Plymouth, which could have changed the game had it gone in. They feel a bit slow, but it might just be because it's League 2, and I'm not used to playing with League 2 teams, obviously having played with Wales for a little while. Carlisle have smashed 5 past Mansfield, so we're not going to be in the top of the league, but hey, we're going to be up in 4th place, and there we go, Wimbledon 3, Plymouth 0, perfect start to the season, ruthlessly effective, clean sheet to go with it, and everything looks fine and dandy, and I'm really, really pleased with that, guys. I am ecstatic, in fact. So let's just see what we're going to be doing in the next episode. Of course, you'll see highlights of all the other games as well, but I want to sort of pick one. Southend will probably be a bit dull. Maybe Exeter? There's a decent number of games. How long away is that? Actually, that's the end of the month. We could probably... No, I think Exeter's a reasonable one, just so I can get a feel of sort of how fast the game is progressing, and then maybe we can do some more or less depending on what happens. So yeah, I'm thinking about that, guys. If you have enjoyed this episode and the fact that we've started with a 3-0 win, which is amazing, then please do drop a like on the video. That would mean the world to me. And if you'd like it even more than that, please do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in your inbox every single day at 7 o'clock. And I will see you guys in the next episode for a home game against Exeter City, who are sitting bottom at the moment, but I imagine that will probably change. Can we start this season the way that we've currently started off the first game? Can we continue this winning run with some much tougher games coming up like Ipswich in the next match? I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.